Good evening, this is Kuro. Got a tier 10 game in my Kleber. Going over the matchmaking, have an enemy Missouri, Worcester, Alaska, Donskoy, Cleveland, Hipper. Really the only threats to my ship, the Hipper, Donskoy, the Jean Bart, and maybe the Z-52 and gearing if I get caught up in torps, or maybe the Z-52 Hydro. Aside from that, this is fairly good matchmaking for this ship. Since I believe this is the first Kleber video that I've done, gonna give you a rundown on what I've been trying with this ship. The first build I tried was just a IFHE, just full gun build. No concealment expert, no, just all guns. Wasn't really happy with that. Just didn't feel like the ship was, firing on all cylinders. And switched to this build. I linked it below. But basically, the gist of it is I'm working with, I believe, a 7-kilometer concealment. It's not going to work. Basically, the intent of this build is to give me something to use against every ship. The idea being saving main battery reload to deal with destroyers that I spot. IFHE will let me pin, all the cruiser hull plating, so that lets me do, stuff like this to this Donskoy. Now here, all I've done here, I've pushed up, I've spotted, the cruisers and battleships for my team. Then I dumped some torps in, just a random, maybe a destroyer comes this way, position and CCAP. And then I go to work on trying to roll back some of the support for that cruiser. In this case, I'm working on the Donskoy, and you can, as you can clearly see, even beyond 12 kilometers, I'm dealing significant damage to this cruiser, and then just utilizing, the acceleration, deceleration abilities, plus with steering gears 3, the fast rudder. I'm just, extremely difficult for them to hit and damage. Basically picked up 11K on that Donskoy, and then just backing off. I've kind of done what I've wanted to do. Want to come back in here, drop off, and this goes right back into, well, now I need a tool to deal with these battleships. Well, with this build I can stealth torpedo. So I'm going to push in here, and then with these torpedo arcs, I'm going to launch one set, rather long. Key is a relatively fast battleship, though. He should push into range of these. Going to go ahead and launch the second set, and then just use my speed to kite out. And at no point am I in danger of being detected or anything like that. And just was able to dump 12 torpedoes at these battleships, and then just kite out. Shooting at the key, trying to bait him into turning out. He's starting to turn out, and he turns right into one of my torpedoes. Unfortunately, my torps run out just before I can hit the Jean Bart. Now the key is on fire. He's got one of my floods on him, so I'm just content letting him burn while I try to put pressure on this Jean Bart. And really what I'm trying to do here is try to roll back some of the the enemy's ability to fight out here on the 9-10 line. And if I can get a toehold in here, that opens up some doors in CCAP. Here the keys, he's on death's door right now, using main battery reload booster just to try to get this guy worked down as quick as possible. And again, my guns, they're not the best for shooting battleships right now. I could drop, to do that, I'd be dropping IFHE for demo expert, and I think that I could do a lot with that. But, here, I just want to have a tool where I can try to deal with any particular target I've come across. So far, you've seen the effects of IFHE that it has on cruisers. I've got the torpedoes going for battleships, main battery reload for DDs. It makes up these DDs give up a lot not having smoke. It removes a lot of options that you have to that DDs typically would be able to rely on to disengage. Here, just trying to finish off this Missouri. Now, coming up here, I am making a misplay here with this Jean Bart. I said earlier in the video, this is one of the ships that can actually be a threat. It's got pretty fast shell velocity, so it's easier for this guy to lead me than it is for, for example, the Missouri, the Massachusetts and Key, Tirpitz. They all have kind of wonky dispersion. Jean Bart's a pretty serious battleship. Plus, with main battery reload booster of his own, he can hit you pretty hard. So here, this is a mistake here. I'm just trying to speed juke this guy, and really, this is too close to do this with him. Plus, I should be angling more away. So he's going to get another good crack at me. And at this stage, it's not really worth my time to sit and gun this guy down. I see a better target over in CCAP with this Donskoy. And again, these French 139mm guns, they're just so vicious to cruisers. You put IFHE on them and they just rip right through cruisers. Doesn't matter what the cruiser is. Even Moskva, Stalingrad, if you can hit those 25mm sections in the superstructure, you do insane amounts of damage to cruisers. That, I find, is the best main target for these ships, is rolling back cruisers with IFHE. Here, just working on Alaska. Oh, Z-52 pops up. We've got main battery in 10 seconds. So we've pretty much secured CCAP. I'm going to start rotating to the middle of the map. Not going to waste my time trying to burn down a Jean Bart that's just trying to kite to the edge of the map. He's pretty much taken himself out of the fight. So throw the reload booster out, get some damage in on the Z-52. And again, you see that impact that has on those fights with destroyers. That main battery reload booster, I don't think it's as strong as smoke, but it definitely gives you some ideas to how to play it. Now here, just pushing out here, just trying to harass the enemy team as they're trying to push across. We're down on points and caps. It's kind of a rough place here for my team. Seeing if I could hit that Wooster right there. Don't think... Oh, I actually did. But just trying to be as evasive as I can. Just trying to stay alive right now. Deal the damage out. This is a tighter game than it looks right now with the way that these points are ticking up. Switch into the hipper. Unfortunately, my team's just gonna rip this hipper apart. He's gone. And here's a really good example of an engagement with a destroyer. This gearing, he really should not have picked the fight this way. This gearing should have pushed right into me and picked this fight, you know, under 6 kilometers. He would have had enough DPM, been able to land enough shells to finish me off, but by picking this fight from range, you can see once I'm able to spin around, get my guns on target, pop the reload booster, he just disappears. And that's what I mean by this ship. It's got something for everybody. And there's only a handful of ships out there that can say that they've got those types of tools available. Grozavoy is one of them. This ship, and those are the two off the top of my head that you know, have something where you can utilize in almost any scenario. Now, unlike Grozavoy, this ship, its definite weakness is CVs. You've really got to play with your fleet and kind of move as kind of a gunship with your fleet, just because you don't have that ability to smoke and waste the CV's time. You just need to rely on the fact that your teammate's going to prevent the CV from being able to hit you a second time. Or maybe this, you know, the CV sees that his squad is melting and he goes right to, you know, hitting a cruiser or battleship that he can spot, you know, further out, and he's already lined up his attack run, you know, before you're even spotted. Those are the types of things where you can take advantage of, or you should be trying to think of when you're facing CVs. Now, I kind of picked this game to kind of show off a little of what Kleber does in every circumstance. The only thing that this build I haven't shown is the AP, and that's coming up right here. That Jean Bart that was just going off to the map borders. I think a lot of destroyer players would make the mistake of, I need to chase that guy. And had I chased that guy, you know, all it would have done, it would have cost me some hit points, but it would have taken me down out here where I wouldn't be able to have the impact that I had up in here, controlling the middle and the northern section of the map. And I think that's something really to think about when you're playing your DDs. Where are you most effective? Do you really need to be there for the mop-up stage, or should you, you know, get your butt in gear to, you know, a better area of the map where there's more enemy, there's more stuff that you have to fight and deal with? And you know, that's just something to consider. So here, gonna throw some AP in the mix. Unfortunately, don't have reload booster to show you how nuts it can get with AP. I mean, take a look at this shot. That's nice. So, Kleber. She's the DD that's making a bunch of noise right now. Everybody's thinking, is it overpowered? Is it not? I don't think this ship is that broken. There's ways that you can go around it. I think some of the if they do look at nerfs, potentially the torpedoes. But again, that really the torpedoes really give it this flavor where you can either play it as a full-on gunboat, or kind of like I do here, where you're just kind of a ship that you're just a good ambusher. You're just hitting and running before the enemy really has a chance to react. So, gonna go ahead and finish this video out. The damage isn't, you know, that impressive. I kind of pulled this game just because this was a game that I kind of had a little bit of a lot of stuff that, you know, had some stuff shooting at cruisers, had some stuff, you know, throwing torps at battleships, you know, a couple little DD fights. Just, I thought that this game was a good way to give you a good picture of just what this ship is capable of. And this is a build that I'm going to have to go back and revisit all the other French destroyers later on, and you know, see if this is a sort of build that I like on these with concealment expert and IFHE. Again, I'll link the build below. But if you guys have any questions or comments, leave them below. Let me know your opinion about the ship. Do you think it's overpowered or not? I'll be interested in getting that opinion. So, hope you guys are having a good night. I will talk to you later.